Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Estee McCrawly here with another video. Today, I finally got some double battles here on the battle spot. I made a new team. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I've had these battles for a while, actually. I think they're from like Friday or Saturday, but I had problems recording them. So that's why they're coming up now, really, really late. And I apologize for that, but I think I've found the problem, found out how to do it easier, so it shouldn't happen again in the future. I'll hurry up and do a quick rundown of my team. You guys will learn more as you see the battles. I don't want to bore you too much. But the team is a Mega Altaria team. I didn't know anything about Mega Altaria before, but I was really interested in Mega Altaria itself. Its ability is Pixelate, which is the same ability as Mega Gardevoir. So when I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, I wonder if this thing can learn Hyper Voice. And sure enough, it can. So I was actually surprised about that, and I was like, oh, so I'll be able to get some Pixelate boosted Hyper Voices off. Just something I really like. It's not the fastest Pokemon, but it's not the slowest Pokemon either. It's just kind of average, so it would be relatively difficult to use in a Trick Room team. So Trick Room wasn't really an option. Well, I mean, it was. It always is. But I decided not to go Trick Room this time around. Something like it's base 80, so something like a Icy Wind would be good. Just one Icy Wind would make me outspeed just about everything. But I decided to stick with just the T-Wave, Prankster boosted T-Wave, or Prankster priority boosted T-Wave, whatever you want to call it, from Klefki. So Klefki's here for the speed control. On my team, I also have Tauros, who's my Intimidate user. I felt like Intimidate was very necessary on this team. Tauros is pretty strong, nothing too special, but it is pretty fast. I think it's like base 110 speed. He knows Endeavor as well, so that was kind of something I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do that. He knows Return. He loves me. I also have Infernape, who's there for good coverage. They'll take care of those pesky Steel-type Pokemon, Rock types, those more of the Tank-type Pokemon. I have Rotom Wash as well. He's here. He's especially defensive. He's Calm Nature. He's got the Assault Vest, Hidden Power Ice, so he's there to help out with things that are 4 times weak to ice as well. And finally, I have Hydreigon, who's also there for coverage. He's got Flamethrower, he's got Earth Power, Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, and he's Choice Specs. So I felt he's also he's a little bit faster than Altaria, but still kind of in the same tier. Where not really that fast, but not really that slow either, like in the middle. So I felt like it'd be a good thing to run with Klefki, just to be able to get some damage off. So my opponent, that's a little bit about my team. Like I said, you might have some questions, but you'll see more as the battles go on. I'll probably explain more as well. But first battle, my opponent had a team of Ferrothorn, Aegislash, Tyranitar, Gastrodon, Excadrill, and Landorus T. So this was absolutely scary in a matchup. I didn't like. He's got many common weaknesses, but I was still like, okay, I don't really have too much to be able to deal with a very offensive team like this. So luckily, I did have Infernape to take care of most of his team. Ferrothorn, the Aegislash, the Tyranitar, and the Excadrill. But I realized I still don't have any grass type moves. Very important. So the Gastrodon, I'm actually surprised I was able to. Or we're gonna see how well I deal with the Gastrodon, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started now. I think you guys are gonna find these battles very enjoyable. My opponent starts with Tyranitar and Landorus, and I go with Altaria and Tauros. I lead Tauros here since this team was really physically offensive, so this Intimidate right here is going to be huge. Unfortunately, he also gets an Intimidate off, but what's important here to note is my Tauros is faster than his Landorus, so he's not Choice Scarf. Just something to keep in the back. He could be Life Orb, he could be Banded, he could be Focus Sash. There's a lot of things he could be. So he's just going to go straight up with the Withdraw from Tyranitar. He's probably expecting like a Fairy type move into that slot. That's why he switches in the Ferrothorn. So I go ahead and Mega Evolve here. Increase my stats a little bit. Mega Altaria is pretty cool. I like the gold color. I know it's kind of overused, but I still think it kind of looks cool. And here I just go for a return into the Landorus. You're going to see it's like a 3-hit KO, and he just goes for Rock Slide. So you're going to see his Landorus is getting outspeed my Altaria. Nothing 2 special there, and you're going to see he gets the crit on Tauros, but still doesn't do too much damage. I go for Cotton Guard here because, like I said, his team's really physically offensive. And we've already seen 3 of his 4 Pokemon, Landorus, Ferrothorn, and Tyranitar, and those are usually physical attackers. So that Cotton Guard is huge right there. Also, I'll let you guys know my Altaria's max special defense. So max special defense nature, max special defense EVs, IVs, just because I have Intimidate and also the Cotton Guard. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot here with Altaria. Even though he does have Ferrothorn out on the field, I still feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. So here I go for an Endeavor, just because there's not much I'm going to be able to do to this Ferrothorn. You're going to see that brings it to about 40%, so that's a huge Endeavor right there. I do take Rocky Helmet and Iron Barb's damage, but I'm okay with that. Because at this point, I'm kind of just hoping for a free switch, because you guys saw I have Infernape in the back, and that's going to easily be able to deal with this Ferrothorn. So I do get that free switch. With he gets to knock out with Rock Slide, but I'm okay with that. And and he flinches me, which is unfortunate. That's kind of one thing that sucks about Thunder Wave is you can't T-Wave ground types. So that's why I didn't really bring Klefki. But I'm still in a good spot. The only problem here is he is slowly whittling away at the HP of my Altaria with the sand, with this Leech Seed now. So the switch into Infernape here is very, very nice because I can knock out whichever Pokemon I choose. And I knew he had Tyranitar in the back, and I was thinking with Ferrothorn, close combat will still knock it out, and a possible switch into a Flare Blitz could be the Tyranitar. So he makes a really, really risky play here, protecting the Landorus and switching in. But I was like, there's no reason not to go for the close combat because it'll knock out the Ferrothorn anyways. And I was like, and if he does switch into Tyranitar, I have that switch covered. So he does switch in. That's a free knockout for me. And we are in a fantastic spot right now. So he does protect against the Hyper Voice and taking a little bit of sand damage here, but that's a huge knockout onto the Tyranitar because now he's not going to be able to bring the sand back. So he brings back in the Ferrothorn. So I was kind of interested in that. I was like, I wonder why he brought back the Ferrothorn and didn't show the last Pokemon. I was like, maybe it's the Excadrill, and Excadrill might not have Sand Rush or whatever. But in this case, I was kind of thinking which Pokemon I wanted to knock out. At this point, neither of his Pokemon were really doing anything. But especially this Ferrothorn, it could have gone for a Gyro Ball into the Altaria slot. But he's just kind of setting up here, so I don't... It's more of like just a stall recover Ferrothorn, I guess. But I felt like the Landorus was the bigger threat. So even though I do have a Rotom in the back, which has Hidden Power Ice and would easily be able to knock out the Landorus, I still felt like knocking out the Landorus in that spot would have been better. So interestingly enough, his last Pokemon was Gastrodon, so instead of bringing Gastrodon after Tyranitar was knocked out, he brought in the Ferrothorn. I found that interesting. At this point, I'm usually going to be able to knock out this Ferrothorn with the Flare Blitz. Infernape in this matchup was huge. I got 4 times effective, or technically 6 times effective stab on Tyranitar and on the Ferrothorn. So that was just absolutely huge. And we just see he was going for an Ice Beam. I wasn't necessarily predicting the Ice Beam. I was just kind of switching it out because I wanted it to be in the back just in case I needed it. Just so that I could get like a Hyper Voice off on this thing because I didn't know if it was going to be offensive or what. I just wanted to make sure that I'd be able to finish off this Gastrodon, so I didn't want it to take any more unnecessary Leech Seed damage or any damage at all, really. So at this point, it's pretty much over. The close combat did quite a bit of damage. He goes for Earthquake here, picking up the knockout on Infernape. I'm at -2 defense, so that's easily going to pick up the knockout. But I'm okay with that because that's just a free switch for me. The Altaria can come in and finish this Gastrodon easily. So, not too bad, to be honest. He's going to end up forfeiting. So, that's going to be our first win. And in that one, Altaria didn't really get to do anything, but I still feel like his presence was heavily felt. Especially against that Tyranitar, how it scared out the Tyranitar turn 1. So he could have gone double Rock Slide turn 1 and try to go for that huge flinch potential. But it's not necessarily that strong with its stats, but I still feel like it's got pretty good coverage to be able to scare out some opposing Pokemon. I feel like that happens a lot. Like, for example, personally, I don't know if it's the same with you, but when I see a Volcarona, I get a little scared just because it's a Volcarona. So it kind of, and it can scare Pokemon out in Team Preview and Team Select. So that was a nice first battle that we had. So now we're going to go ahead and move into the second one against Dan. Dan had a team of Pidgeot, Umbreon, Ditto, Aegislash, Flareon, and Go-Goat. So he's got quite a few walls here. With Aegislash, you never know if it's going to be a wall, if it's going to be a mix set, if it's going to be physical, offensive. It's got a lot of potential there. Umbreon, pretty big wall. Go-Goat has sky-high defenses. So the interesting thing here is Ditto, most likely going to be Choice Scarf. Copy one of my Pokemons. Or just transform or imposter, whatever you want to call it, into one of my Pokemon. And then steal its stats until the end of the game. So the only Mega Evolution possibility here is the Pidgeot. So that's something I have to keep in mind. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. In this matchup, Klefki is gonna be a lot better than in the previous one, since he doesn't have a whole bunch of ground type Pokemon. And so this is like my most common lead, or kind of the lead that I had in mind when I created this team. So I can go for the Thunder Waves and Mega Evolve and just spam Hyper Voice. So interesting enough, this Klefki, or his Ditto, is Quick Claw. So getting that Quick Claw pop as I Mega Evolve here. And I go for Protect onto Altaria because I know the Klefki's moveset. He's got access to Thunder Wave. So sure enough, he does go for Thunder Wave into the Altaria. And I go for a Thunder Wave onto Pidgeot. So also, just so you guys know, one of the reasons I chose Klefki is because it has Crafty Shield. So I wanted to be able to protect my own Pokemon against that. So so now that his Pidgeot is paralyzed, I can go for Crafty Shield just to protect mine. That's exactly what I do. So he does go for Thunder Wave, but it's going to be blocked. Then I just go for Cotton Guard here, since the only offensive move Klefki has is Foul Play. So I'm just going to raise my defenses, and Pidgeot's also a physical or a physical attacker. So we get the double pair on Pidgeot there, which is absolutely fantastic. I go for another Crafty Shield, and he goes for another Thunder Wave. So I still feel like that's a pretty good option, or a pretty good choice by him, since there's not much his Klefki could do anyways, and that's kind of the best thing for him to do is try and set up the Thunder Wave. But we're going to see he gets the Tailwind, he's going to switch right out. So now the Thunder Wave is going to be really important to be able to slow his team down, since they're already at high enough speed. I go for another Crafty Shield, and he still keeps on going for Thunder Wave, which is kind of the only thing he can do unless if he decides to switch out. But the thing here is Altaria isn't in the best spot, since now he has two Pokemon that resist Hyper Voice. So I switch out here, since they're both pretty much, or since Flareon's going to be a physical or a special attacker as well. So he does go for Thunder Wave, that's why I switch in the Rotom. I'm immune, and I get a Thunder Wave off on his Flareon. So that's a huge paralysis right there, slowing that thing down. And we do see the Flamethrower, and it is going to go into the Klefki slot. But at this point, I'm okay with that. It does do about 75%, but I have to move Light Screen on Klefki. So here he goes for a Crafty Shield. I have no need to paralyze his Klefki, since it's not really that or his Ditto, since it's not really that fast anyways. So I do get off the Light Screen, so now this next Flamethrower that he hits is not going to be able to knock me out. So that's one of the reasons why I put Light Screen, is because Altaria has Cotton Guard, so it's going to help, or it's going to have really high defense, and that's going to help with its special defense. So he sets up a Light Screen as well, which is good since I do have Rotom out on the field, which is a physical or a special attacker. I get a Hydro Pump, and that is going to be enough to knock it out, the Flareon. So A really slow game, to be honest. But just because he has the Klefki there, which isn't really doing anything, I go for the Thunderbolt here into the Pidgeot. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to take it out. And we do pick up another knockout, so the paralysis from Klefki is coming up big here. And along with the... So here I go for Foul Play. You're going to see it does nothing. And just because I'm sure Ditto doesn't have the best of stats anyways. And we see the last one he has is Go-Goat. So at this point, that's scary for Rotom, obviously. I do get the paralysis off so that when Altaria comes back in, it's going to be able to deal with this thing easily. I don't know how fast it is. It might be scarfed for all I know. So funny enough, he has the red card. So after the Hidden Power Ice connects, it's going to force him out and bring in my Infernape, which is the answer I have to both these things. So unfortunately, he is fully paralyzed. And he does get the Foul Play off. And that's going into my Klefki, and you're going to see it does nothing. I'm sure he's annoyed with my Klefki at this point. Yeah, he didn't really bring anything that was able to take care of it. So I go for Crafty Shield here, predicting a possible... or predicting the Thunder Wave into Infernape. But he just goes for Foul Play into Infernape, which is going to do a decent amount since my attack is pretty high. But I just go for the Flare Blitz into the Go-Goat, because at this point I know Klefki can't do anything. I know its moveset. So the only offensive move it has is Foul Play. So there's not much it's going to be able to do. So I pick up the knockout on Go-Goat. Most likely had an Earthquake, which could have done some damage to me. But here I just go for another Crafty Shield. I don't want like a 20 turn or even a 1-turn paralysis. I just want this battle to end. So I go for the Flare Blitz into the Ditto, and it is going to be enough to pick up the knockout. So that's going to be another win for us. So Ditto not really coming up too big for my opponent there. Infernape came up huge. He picked up like half the knockouts today. So Infernape's got really good coverage. At the same time, he's not like a super good Pokemon just because he's so frail. And mine has Blaze. It doesn't have Iron Fist. So just because he's holding a Focus Sash, so if he ever gets hit and he gets brought down to 1 HP, I can go for a Flare Blitz and just get tons of damage off. Iron Fist might be better for like an Infernape that wants to survive a little bit longer, but mine I just want to get... There's certain Pokemon I just want to be able to take out, like Tyranitar. I don't want to Mach Punch it, I just want to one-shot it with close combat. So lucky for me, I've been able to set up good situations for my Infernape to finish it off. Altaria there, not doing too much, since my opponent did have the Flareon, and his Ditto copied my Klefki, which would also resist Fairy type moves. But I still feel like it's strong. It's a good pick. I feel like my team does a decent job of supporting the Altaria, the Mega Altaria. But keep your eyes peeled. This video is going to be going up tonight. It's going to be pretty late for some of you. It's not too late here. It's still... But tomorrow I'll also be coming at you with a video with this team again. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll try and get daily videos up for you guys. I've been trying, and now that I have a team, I don't have an excuse. Sometimes I just don't have a team, and I'm like, I don't know what to build for the team, but I got the team, so expect the battles. And look for a battle tomorrow. That one's going to be coming up for sure. But, yeah. If you guys got any suggestions for me, let me know. If you guys want to battle me, also let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.